That alone. Verse 95. This extensive, playful display is Maya's concealed energy of universal creativity. Again and again she manifests here. Her limbs are the 10 million cosmic bodies. Commentary. According to the Christian concept, God is the bright absolute who created a good world, and the devil is his relative counterpart, who is the source of great darkness. The devil is continuously filling God's good world with evil, viciousness, and sin. So there is a bright world on one side and a dark world on the other, with God presiding over the bright and the terrible devil in control of the dark. In the Vedantic context, there is a similar division, but they don't have a God and a devil. Instead, there is the transcendental, unknown, incomprehensible absolute on one side and manifestation on the other. The relation between these two is sometimes explained through Sankhyan epistemology in terms of Purusha or the pure spirit on one hand and Prakriti or nature on the other. Prakriti has a bright aspect of divine reflection, a kinetic aspect of change, and a dark aspect of stasis. When the dark aspect is emphasized, it can account for whatever is assigned to the devil in the Christian and Muslim religions. So sometimes Maya is looked upon as an evil goddess and sometimes just as nature. In this verse, Narayana Guru uses a number of terms to qualify Maya. First, Maya is given a very expansive area for its ambit. Then he qualifies it as Vinoda, a very important term, meaning humorous or playful. It doesn't imply anything dark or demonic, but rather that Maya is very bright and capable of tickling you and making you laugh. With Vidya, science, she is in charge of the science of humor. What if you said the devil was in charge of the science of humor? Really, he is. Mark Twain and others have had that insight. In Man and Superman, George Bernard Shaw describes how Satan found that the number of people in hell were increasing at a terrific rate. He took a roll call to find out why there was such a burst of population, and he found that many were migrants from heaven. He asked them, "What is wrong with heaven? Why didn't you stay there?" Everybody answered it was very boring in heaven. All you could do was be reverential and sit and mumble prayers all the time. But in Satan's world, everything was very humorous and there was plenty of variety. Likewise, the Guru is not depicting Maya as an evil Satan, but putting her in charge of the science of humor. He also describes her as the operating manager or director of a grand drama. Like any director, Maya stays behind the scenes, never coming to the forefront. But whatever the actors do has already been determined and structured by her. Then again, she is Vilasanno, shining, as Viryam, the essence of Vishva, the whole cosmos. The essence of the universe which shines as the operator of this great science of humor over a vast, expansive area is Maya. Narayana Guru is really calling our attention to Maya. Evil, evil, look at her, look at her. Again and again, she is descending here. Avatara has many meanings. One is that from above, something is coming down. Then again, when you first hold an idea, it is a hypostatic principle, and when it becomes real, it manifests here. A mother giving birth to a child is also an avatara. Then he says, her limbs are all these countless millions of cosmic bodies. They are all coming from her. She is giving birth to all of them, just for a joke. We are coming to the close of our study of the self. If you are making an inquiry into the self to get away from all the miseries, pains, and tribulations of this world, you must first know that all these tribulations are creations of Maya. In this sense, Maya becomes a kind of enemy. A couple of verses ago, there was a reference to Maya taking revenge when someone tries to escape the world of manifestation and turn to the transcendental. That aspect is still there. But if you are a wise person, and the Guru expects that by now, the 95th verse, you should be wise, he wants you to also participate in the grand humor. This is such a beautiful verse. Just as you can meditate on God, you can also meditate on Maya. The humorous part of the story is how someone is giving birth to things with limbs. When a man and a woman are attracted to each other, each is a plaything to the other. Probably that is why the American commercial experts decides to call one of their magazines Playboy. Men and women are very playful. Their play only becomes serious when the woman goes to the maternity ward. But it all begins in great humor. They tickle each other and laugh together. They say light-hearted things and whisper sweet nothings into each other's ears. All this is part of the great science of Maya. She creates big, bold things out of nothing, sweet nothings. This verse is for all people to become light-hearted. We should see the light side of life rather than becoming so grumpy about everything. If you make a mistake, it's because Mother Nature wants you to make it. So don't have any sense of guilt. Make your mistakes gladly. If you don't make little mistakes, God will call out to you, "Fool, I gave you a chance. I sent you to the world and you didn't make any mistake. Stupid, get out." If you are here in this world, make some mistakes. Maya is sitting there and asking us to do all these things. Natarajaguru used to tell us in the Gurukula that we should make interesting mistakes, not stupid or clumsy ones. Whatever mistakes you make should be very clever and interesting. Fritz Peters tells a great story about Gurdjieff. At his school one time, he had to be away for a few days, so he put a trustworthy woman in charge in his absence. On his return, she showed him a little black book in which she had kept track of all the offenses the students had committed. It was quite a long list. To everyone's surprise, Gurdjieff took out his wallet and started giving each one money, paying so much per offense. Fritz had been at the top of the list, so he got the most money, but he was ashamed to spend it, feeling the old woman had been let down. She had carefully chronicled all the crimes, and now Gurdjieff was giving everyone presents for their mistakes. But Gurdjieff said life was like that, and if you didn't make mistakes, life would never be interesting. So here you are being given an invitation to make mistakes. And what kind of mistakes is Maya causing you to make? Her mistakes are not freaks of nature. She has a system. We can see how comedy and tragedy come in such a way that over time they balance each other out. For instance, she calls the mouse to the cheese. The mouse's nose is perfectly designed to alert it to food. It comes closer, sniffs, and bites through the package with its sharp teeth. Then Maya calls the cat. The cat knows just how soft and delicious the mouse is, and how long it can play with it before sinking its sharp teeth in. While the cat is tiptoeing closer with its mouth watering, Maya makes a little noise to alert the mouse that someone is prowling there. The mouse jumps up and runs, and the cat scrambles after it. Then Maya shows the mouse a small little hole, and it dashes in. The cat is left standing there, thwarted. But if the mouse is not alert, or can no longer run fast enough, or is not clever enough to find the hole, it loses the game, and the cat will eat it. It's the same with the caribou and the wolf, or anywhere in nature, in Maya. All are part of a grand humorous science. If you are clever and smart, you can get away. If you are not, you will be caught. Just like Nixon with his Watergate. He was not clever enough, or he might have escaped with the cheese. Whether you are a mouse or a Nixon, Maya makes no distinction. She says, "This is my game," the grand universal play of life. Her game is played by the stars, even if they are all moving around in space without touching each other, fine. But as soon as they come too close, they will break up into thousands of planets and meteors, or even explode. A subatomic particle can endlessly run anywhere it likes, but if it collides with another particle, it is shattered or changed into another particle. So, through all this universe, from subatomic particles through cats and mice to macrocosmic galaxies, including superior and inferior intelligence, whatever exists is part of a gigantic glass bead game. If you know how to play the game, you enjoy it immensely, and the whole thing is a source of great humor to you. If you are ignorant, then you get caught. In the Yoga Vasishta and many other Indian stories, there will always be a terrible demon asking riddles. If you are wise, you are rewarded, given the whole kingdom and great riches. But if you are not wise, you will be eaten by the demon. In the Vikramaditya, there is a story of a corpse and a king. The corpse puts riddle after riddle to the king, but he is capable of answering them all. These are wonderful metaphors for the science of humor Maya is creating every moment. In order to know the absolute, you should also know what is not the absolute. If you want to know what truth is, you should also know what is not truth. Then you can exercise your viveka, your great discrimination. Whatever is in the world has its own essence, and it is capable of producing something very similar to itself out of it. If you take a big tree like a banyan tree with its vast root system, its spreading branches, and all its leaves, flowers, and fruit, it's huge. Yet its seed is not even as big as a mustard seed. Within the tiny seed resides the entire essence of the tree. Similarly, within the chromosomes which are passed on from a man and a woman to their offspring is condensed the whole essence of the child's being, the viryam of the new person. A man's semen is also called viryam, since it is the physical source of the progeny. The seeds are microscopic, but in them is the essence of all the possible details of the person, not only of their physical formation, but also of all the functional aspects, as well as a chronological program to be implemented over the person's whole lifetime. When you think of something so tiny, it's impossible to believe that hands and legs could be made out of it. This is called avayavam, all the cosmic bodies, which are the many limbs given birth to by Maya. We are all born in the same way, from the Vishvaviryam, the essence of the world to which we all belong. When it is taken collectively, we can readily understand what the Vishvaviriam is. It is not just a joke. The joke is a meaningful game of continuing the phenomenality of the world. Phenomenality has a drastic aspect as well as a humorous one. The humorous aspect is when a couple is on the nuptial bed. The drastic part is when you call for the ambulance and rush to the hospital, where there are bright lights and the clang of instruments, and forceps may be used to pull the child's head out. That part can be tragic and terrible. Maya is sometimes depicted as the beautiful goddess Saraswati, sitting on a white lotus and playing the veena. From one breast comes all the wisdom literature, and from the other come all the creative arts. Thus she nourishes everyone. It's wonderful. That is one aspect of the role of Maya as chief director of the science of humor. She is also depicted with garlands of skulls, holding a terrible scimitar in one hand, while beckoning with the other as if to say, "Don't be afraid." Blood drips from her tongue, and she is making terrible noises. In his Kali Natakam, Narayanaguru addresses her, "Adorations to you, O Mother, dear to the four-headed God, Brahma and others of his order, who, emanating all the universe, holding sway over them, with pleasing mien destroys all again. Thus ever in joy delighting, now playful and now in ecstasy, raising repeated cries, most agonizing, while dwelling within the ground of my own great delight, brimfully filling the universe, lit up to view by the uttered word, which penetrating deep within, and remaining as a minute grain, in interiority ultimate, wriggling and wriggling, while letting down a showering ooze of immortal bliss, fully aware of every pain, befalling day by day to believers in your lotus feet, scorching effectively the seed of pain within those able for a while at least to fix their thoughts to rest on you, so that they begin to ignore every other form of contemplation. Of the flight of the alone to the alone, in such a manner filling the whole universe with the self-same substance uniformly all over, to dwell therein excluding the least taint of dross, knowing never the least decrease, even on long lapse of time. This day, alas, have we come to have awareness, somewhat at least, of this your tragic form. Shall this same effectively block out the whole universe? Able to know thus in this wide world, who could there be, alas? This gives us an idea of what the Guru has in mind when he speaks of Maya as one who has supremacy over all this world of manifestation. We have to think of this in terms of the previous verse, where he said, appearance and reality are intermixed. There it was presented as a principle, while here it is personified as the mother of the universe. Narayanaguru by no means personifies Maya as Satan or the devil. The touch of humor with which he deals with it should brighten our minds and ease our spirits. The great secret of this is called Leela. If you understand the world as a Leela, a play or sport, it lightens all your troubles. Even when the worst of the worst happens, you know that after all this game will be over in a little while. Then you can smile, not having the feeling that it is so dreadful. In Jean-Paul Sartre's story, The Wall, 3 political prisoners were ordered to be killed. 2 of them became sick with the fear of dying. The third knew it was inevitable. There was no way of reasoning with such people. He accepted he would be shot, and he did not want to die a mean death. He said, "I will die, but I will die in full consciousness. It is the inevitable end. Today or tomorrow, I have to die. I accept it." Here the Guru goes one step further. It is not taken just as inevitable. It is taken as the inevitable humor of life. If you are born, you have to die. It's part of the game, so you accept it. When you accept it as a game, a leela, the whole complexion of it changes. We can see this attitude in the last moments of Socrates. Others were crying, but he didn't see what was wrong with them, why they should be upset. He could not convince even the best of his disciples that one can have a more even-minded attitude towards injustice and death. So before you see that you are the Absolute, you should examine your negative side. The negative side can be depicted as very dark and evil. In the Bible, there are so many passages painting the negative aspect as so terrible. We are speaking of the same negativity, but you can take it much more lightheartedly. Then it doesn't oppress you so much. I was recently reading the Psalms. They have such beautiful poetry in them. But after 4 or 5 lines of great beauty and joy comes something horrible to frighten you to the bone. I was wondering if someone could rewrite them, taking away the terror, dread, and vengeance, and references to heathens and enemies. Then there could be songs for all humanity. It would be most wonderful. If the Bible was revalued in the light of Vedanta, we would have a very enjoyable book. This is a happy day for us, being with Maya. And the free translation of verse 95 is, "This world of manifestation is like a sportive display of Maya, who conceals her forms and creates everything with her essence. Continuously she presents one limb after another, making this grand exhibit of the cosmos with millions of luminaries."